Hi, we're Shannon and Jerry Arner.
And our dog, Betty White.
Your hosts of the Arner Adventures podcast.
Could we have named it something more creative? Probably. But it's the name of our blog. It's our last name. We're on an adventure. Yada, yada, yada. After owning our own business, working 24/7.
And don't forget a mental breakdown in between.
We made a lifestyle change and decided to make the most out of life.
We sold our house, most of our belongings, downsized, and moved to the coast.
We live life minimally, but fully.
We live each day as an adventure.
This show will help you learn how to live life more fully, with more intention, by experiencing more, and with less stuff.
We'll talk about our own experiences, interview others who have much to share by creating a spark in our lives.
Some days we'll share real-life ongoings of what we're going through, and others will talk about our favorite flavor of waffle.
Come join our adventure.
It's the Arner Adventures Podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Shannon.
Baby girl Betty White is sitting with us, and we're back for episode 103 of the Arner Adventures Podcast.
Can you tell that I write the intro? I thought it would be really funny for you to say baby girl Betty White. Well, we are in the first week of December, if you can believe that. We hope that you all are content, because there's nothing wrong with not being exuberantly happy in the holidays. Content is underrated. So we hope that you all are content, especially in the holiday season. We know how difficult the season can be this time of year, so we just want to remind you to be gentle with yourself.
I'm all behind that. I think content is a lot easier to manage than over the top jubilant.
I agree.
Yeah, it's a little more, not as many peaks and valleys.
That's right. As I tell some people in my life, the holidays are not always Norman Rockwell. It's not a ice capade.
Not at all.
You know?
Sometimes they can be Norman Rockwell, but other times Norman fell.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, say no to the things you don't want to do. Keep your boundaries and practice a little bit of self-care.
That's right.
And you'll be content.
That's right.
You'll be on your way to contentment if you can do all those things.
Sure, that's right. There's nothing wrong with putting yourself first in the holidays if you are, navigating your way through in a challenging time. So we just wanted to remind you that. Our guests, because there's two of them today, is a couple who, similar to us, sold everything for a change of life. They are, speaking of navigation, they're navigating their own path. Steve and Joanie Wynn were living a Hollywood lifestyle, and they changed their course toward Hawaii to be coffee farmers.
Coffee farmers, now that sounds like contentment.
That it sure does. Should we just go ahead and get to the episode?
Let's get to it.
Well, let's introduce today's guest. Meet Steve and Joanie Wynn, a remarkable couple whose story unfolds like a Hollywood script. With over 2 decades in the glamorous world of entertainment and Emmy award-winning production company under their belts, they decided to pen a new chapter in their lives. Leaving behind the glitz and glamour of showbiz, they embarked on a journey that led them to the lush coffee fields of Hawaii's Big Island. From the red carpets to green coffee beans, Steve and Joanie have redefined their narrative, transitioning from producing captivating stories to cultivating a taste of paradise with their Kona Earth coffee farm. Their adventure, reinvention, and the pursuit of a dream deeply rooted in sustainability is why we wanted them on the podcast. Joanie, Steve, thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, we're pleased to be here.
So we like to paint a picture for those who are tuning in. If you can tell everybody where exactly you're coming to us from.
We are coming to you from a small town called Holualoa on Hawaii's Big Island. And our farm is in the heart of what they call the Kona Coffee Belt. And it's sort of a perfect Goldilocks zone for growing coffee, with perfect temperatures and ample rainfall and volcanic soil. And the coffee trees are very happy in this zone, and so are we.
It's paradise.
I mean, I'm sure. I can't even imagine. We have similar situations, not exactly, and we're going to get into your journey, but we sold everything and then moved to the coast. So we do like to say that we live where people want a vacation, which is really great. But Hawaii is a different story. That's a really great place to be. So that's exciting. And we can't wait to talk about how you got there. So I will start with, and I love this part when so many of our guests have this transition to a new lifestyle, and sometimes there's one single pivotal moment that happens that makes them want to change, or sometimes it's like, okay, there was like this trajectory and then we made the change. So I would love to hear how this transition changed from having this longstanding career in the production business and then becoming coffee farmers. Like, how did that work out?
Well, it wasn't just overnight, although it was kind of overnight. It was building up, and we had been in production for over 30 years. And, before we even got together, I was doing all different kinds of television shows, and Joanie was doing marketing for feature films. And then our business, we came together, created our business, and just did so many different things and kind of did everything twice, and ads and et cetera, et cetera. And then I was like, okay, we've done that, and it's been great, an amazing career, but what else is out there? When it comes to the end of our life, I want to look back and want to see, well, we did this, we did it very well, but it might be cool to pivot hard and do something completely crazy and out there. And so, we started looking, and really within, I don't know, a few days, I was interested in having a certain amount of land and to do something with. I didn't know what. We didn't know what we would be doing for income. And so I started looking at the big island of Hawaii and saw lots of land. It's like, okay, there's one check. And then I noticed they were all doing coffee farming, and it's like, oh, well, that's an interesting thing. So during dinner, we sat down, and over a glass of wine, I laid it out on the table and said, what if we sell everything we own, push it all in, and become coffee farmers? And the first reaction was, as expected, a little giggle and, yeah, what do we know about coffee farming? And it's like, well, absolutely nothing,
Right.
But we can learn. And I'm serious. What if we become coffee farmers? And then, after that glass of wine went down, and she kind of saw the earnest look in my eye, she decided to go online and start researching it. As a good producer does. And then so here we are. And it didn't take long. Once that decision was made, everything was put on the market. We started looking hard for where this farm is going to be, this field of dreams, where is it going to be? And here we are, almost 3 years later.
Are we talking like from the wine and decision making? Are we talking a week? Are we talking a month? Like, what are we talking?
It was about 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah,
no, that is super quick. That is still super quick, especially
quick
for that kind of a lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, and moving to Hawaii is quite an effort, because everything goes on a cargo ship and in a container,
Sure.
And you're paring down your belongings to fit in the container. And so it was about 6 months. We moved in June of 2021.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So once you finally made the decision and then it actually happened, so you're there, you've made the decision and everything's done. Do you have a moment where you go, oh my God, what did we do?
Oh yeah.
All the time.
You still
All
do?
the time.
But that's kind of the thrill of it,
Yes.
You
Yes.
just, whoa, a little sweat, and it's like, oh my gosh, and then we're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a range of it. So there are times when you're out in the field, which he's out in the field a lot. I'm out less because I run the business side, but and you're just standing and you're looking, going, wow, this is incredible. And then there are other times when you're maybe worried about your crop or worried about learning something new, when you're like, oh, what did we do? So
Yeah.
I mean, it's
a good way.
It's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. And I think we were both up for that. We're like, okay, this is crazy. we admit. This is crazy, but let's go for it. Let's go for it.
When people hear about what you're doing and it's such a big change that they either completely try to talk you out of it, like, what are you doing? Or they think that there's something more serious going on. Like they're like, oh, they must be sick, or something terrible must be going on, because why else would you do this so out of the norm thing? Which now hindsight, I'm like, well, that's what makes it so great, is that it isn't the norm. It isn't what everybody else would do. I tend to believe that most people wish they would make decisions like that, even though it's so scary. But did you have that where people in your life were just like, what are you doing? You shouldn't do this.
Yeah, there were some. No one expressed you shouldn't do this. But there were those who were in the side that said, wow, that is incredible, so bold, brave, good for you guys. And then there were those who go, wow, that's an interesting choice. And, and so,
right.
You know where they are.
Yeah.
But those who know us know that we have taken, some bold steps here and there, and we call it the Steve and Joanie show. And when we make the decision to do something, we don't mess around. The ship turns quickly.
Hey, well, it's that time of year again, and we can't wait to tell you about our very favorite soy candles from Southern Oak Artisan.
Yes, they're a trusted sponsor of the episode, have been for a while, but we love their products. They are 100% natural soy candles. One of the things that we love any time of year, but especially in the cozy season, are our candles all around the house.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, and you're right. All times of the year. In fact, in the summertime, sometimes we hate that we don't feel we can light them because it's just too warm. But man, it takes a lot not to light those candles.
Yeah.
And these candles are made with non-toxic ingredients, and which makes for a safe and enjoyable breathing around the house.
They have pumpkin scents this time of year, apple. There's some seasonal things for the fall and the winter. And they are non-toxic, like Jerry said. They're not overpowering scents. They're clean. And they come in these little jars that once you burn it, by the way, soy burns clean. So you can reuse the jars for, I don't know, you can put some seedlings in there. You can put some earrings and jewelry in there, whatever you want to do, storage in the kitchen. It's just really nice.
Oh, and they look good anywhere. They would look good anywhere in your house, whatever they're doing.
Yeah, super nice. Well, if you want to take advantage of a discount that Southern Oak Artisan is extending to you, go to arneradventures.com/Southern Oak Artisan. Or you can make sure that you go to our show notes where it will be linked there.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it's full steam ahead. So, so we had both reactions.
Sure. So you have to learn an entire coffee business, and not even the business, but the farming of it. How did you do that? I mean, you bought this land and then did you say, okay, we're just going to Google it? Or was it like, you're going to learn from the locals, or how did that learning process work?
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Well, really all of the above. I mean, the farming community here is super supportive. And so we had, we reached out and we had people stepping in to help and give us advice. And then you're kind of learning your farm specifically, at our elevation, with our kind of trees, with our kind of microclimate. You learn what are the best practices for your particular farm.
Okay.
And then, I think just picking up information from here, there, and everywhere.
Well, the night that we decided, okay, we're both on board with this and we're going to go. Yeah, I went online and just started researching stuff, what does a coffee tree need and all that kind of thing. And the learning curve was straight up, going crazy. And now it's starting to bend a little bit. I'm feeling comfortable. Joanie's feeling comfortable, more so. I look at it as we now know what we don't know. Well,
sure.
Before we had no idea. And we
Yeah.
knew that. We had no idea what we're going into. And then with the, like Joanie said, the help of some of the key people that we met who've been instrumental in all the aspects of it. And we lean on them. We stand on their shoulders. We're figuring it out, but that's part of the adventures, figuring it out,
That's
something
right.
new and not retiring.
Right. I feel like so much a part of our life, and probably yours too, like you just said, is literally saying and thinking, well, I'll figure it out. Well, I'm just going to figure it out. I think
Yeah.
that is the exciting part. How long did it take before I don't know if you say it's fruitful, before you were successful in growing? How long was that?
Well, the farm existed, so
Okay.
the trees were there. There was there's a farmhouse. There's a barn. The farmer that we bought the farm from had a certain amount of equipment. Our initial focus was on improving kind of capital improvements. So, bringing in a proper tractor and some of the equipment needed, like a fertilizer spreader, a chipper, those kind of equipment that would assist the mechanized farm work and make it doable with a very small
One person.
Basically him. My son worked a little bit, I worked a little bit, but mostly it's Steve doing it. So he needed the equipment to be able to do that. So that
Right.
was really like the first year we were really focused on that. And then, tending to the trees, really giving them an uplift and improving the health of the trees and the farm. And so I think Steve feels like this harvest is really the first representation of his farming efforts.
Right.
So the cherry on the trees is looking really healthy. We're still in the middle of harvest right now.
Okay.
So far, the yield is looking very strong. We won't know for sure until sometime late March, probably. So those first few years were very much about infrastructure and improving the health of the orchard.
And you said that you learn from other farmers. So I'm assuming it's sort of like there's no scarcity mentality, like, oh my gosh, I can't help them because I need to save my own farm. Like, it's sort of like spread the knowledge, spread the wealth. I mean, is that kind of the mindset? Everybody's fine with helping?
Yeah, it spread the knowledge. No one has time to come out. I mean, if you're in dire straits and there's a problem, people will come
Okay.
and to help you out. But for the most part, everyone's out in their field
Yeah.
working pretty hard. Sun up to
Yeah.
sundown. Especially during the harvest and everything. But
Okay.
but information is easily passed along, and you have to decide for that information because everyone has different information.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has their own take on what works best for their farm, and you will often hear always do or never do,
Yeah.
and then you have to go, okay, well, he always and the other guy never, and what's good for me. And so
Right.
that's where you got to just kind of put in your feeling about it, knowing your elevation, like Joanie was saying, elevation and climate, microclimate and all that. What do you think is going to work well? Take that bold step and move forward.
At what point when the business is going well and you think you've got the hang of it, at what point did you start the Care in Every Cup program? And then can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, so we started that right from the beginning. We knew we wanted that to be a part of the business. We've always had a give back component in every adventure we've had or business that we've done. The first thing was identifying a partner. We wanted a Big Island nonprofit partner.
Mm-hmm.
And we connected with a Big Island organization called the Kohala Center, and they focus very much on environmental advocacy, protection, education, and our particular area of focus is coral reef on the west side of the island. called Kahaluu Bay. And so our give back component goes directly to their programs.
What's unique about this particular bay that they focused on, it's a small bay, but it gets impacted greatly by the number of people who come. And what they've been able to do is quite remarkable. From this little bay, they've become they've set this model for other places around the world for reef restoration preservation. From the mineral sunscreen, only using that. Other sunscreens will actually kill a lot of the coral, to teaching people not to stand on the coral. You know, you're killing the little creatures in there, and setting up a way that you can enjoy the snorkeling, but without having a big impact. And I think they're navigating those waters beautifully, and it's becoming this model that other places around the world are taking, larger places.
The last time we visited, which I think maybe last summer, we visited the Keys, the Florida Keys. They had a program similar. It was almost like I can't remember the certification, but different businesses would be very excited to promote that they're a part of this program that helps support the reefs by if you're participating in their activities, you can't wear certain sunscreens because they were harmful. But we also saw, I'm wondering if it comes from there, that there's a lab type place there on the Keys where they're making like man-made coral that I guess somehow helps that situation. Did that start in Hawaii? Do you know? Have you heard of that?
I don't know, but they do have a lab that's recreating or regrowing.
Could be recreating. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Here on island. And so, that's a big part of it, restoring the damaged coral.
It's a cozy season, and a good night's sleep is always essential.
Oh gosh, we always talk about when the change of the season happens, you really have to make sure that you're getting some good sleep. If you don't get good sleep, and then the days are shorter and it can be kind of gloomy, you're just setting yourself up for a really bad day, right?
You are. So transform your bed into a safe and refreshing haven.
With Cozy Earth bamboo sheets. We love our Cozy Earth sheets. I mean, we love them all times of year, not just during the cozy season. It's just a sustainable and eco-friendly bedding. We just love it.
And there's no going back to your old sheets once you've used Cozy Earth. There's no going back to cotton or denim or whatever your old sheets were made of.
That's right. And you know who also loves Cozy Earth?
Well, I think many of our listeners might be able to guess.
Lady O, Oprah. When Oprah says that something is a good product, we really just should have stopped it. We should have just stopped and we should have just said, Oprah loves Cozy Earth. And that's it.
You get Cozy Earth sheets. You get Cozy Earth sheets.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, you get 40% off of your Cozy Earth purchase when you go to arneradventures.com/Cozy Earth, and you can use our link and our code to save. It's the biggest discount you're ever going to get on Cozy Earth. We promise.
I would think so. It's unbeatable. 40%. Cozy Earth's own sales can't compare to these savings.
They definitely can't.
Yeah.
So head on over there and have a better night's sleep.
They're taking bits of it, back to the lab, letting it recover, putting it back. And in Florida, they're doing a lot of research in acclimating coral to a higher water temperature, which of course, this past year has been a devastating thing down there. The water temperatures were up in the 100 degrees, which is amazing. And so I think all these coral restoration labs and restoration projects, they're keeping in mind the climate change and the rise in temperature in the oceans, and it's getting these corals to acclimate slower, so they will survive rather than just, overheat and die.
With our Care in Every Cup program, that came along at the same time that we launched our website. So we arrived in the end of June, And then my focus was very much on building an e-commerce website so that we could sell our coffee right from the farm to people on the mainland. And so as part of creating the website, I wanted Care in Every Cup to be launched at the same time so that we had our nonprofit partner in place. We had the program and how the give back component would work so that when people visited our site for the first time, they would see, oh, wow, really cool. You can buy Kona coffee and you're giving back to help support reef preservation.
Everything that somebody buys from Kona Earth, a piece of that goes towards the nonprofit, which is the reef restoration. To take a little break from that when the fires in Maui happened. Mm-hmm. And so we were giving back to that effort through the sales of our products. But now things are kind of going in a positive direction for Maui. And so we're back with the reef restoration.
Before you made this big transition in your lifestyle, were you guys still sustainably minded? Or did the transition of your lifestyle shift to that as well? Like about giving back to the reef restoration? And were those things that you were interested in before you made this transition?
Yeah, we always were. So in the video business, we always would look every year to some nonprofit that needed help from us. Mm-hmm. And what we could give more than money was a video that would help promote their cause. Right. And so we would use our talents and our skills to create a story that they could use to promote themselves further. So
and assist with their fundraising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you can give the man a fish, or you can teach the man to go fishing. Well, kind of that analogy. Give them something that they can use to go themselves and promote themselves.
I think a lot of people think that they can't. I don't have the money or resources to be able to help this nonprofit, but we're always like, okay, but what skills do you have? Like, is it that you pick people up and take them where they need to go? Or is it, you have a car and other people don't have cars? Or is it filmmaking? Is it production? So I love that you brought that up, because so many people, I think, want to help something that they're passionate about, whether it's social justice or, the environment. And they think, well, I don't have any money, I can't make a difference. But that is a great situation where, yes, you can help these people make such a big difference. And it is, time is money, the production is money, but I love that you talked about that's what you were doing to really help them too, especially, and you continue it now with Kona Earth, that you are still able to take something and then take a piece of it and then put it towards something to make us a big difference. Even the smaller things make difference, but overall what you've done is so big.
And it is true, only part of what we think of with Care in Every Cup is an actual monetary contribution where we're writing a check. The rest of it is supporting their efforts. So if they need a product to thank their volunteers, we'll put together little care packages with the coffee. And then we also, give product for other organizations, even on the mainland, that use like a coffee giveaway, and somebody wins coffee, or they bid on coffee for, online auctions and stuff. So that's another small way we can contribute. Like, yeah, we'll send you guys some coffee. You can auction it, and then the funds will go to support your efforts. Every little bit helps.
And awareness, helping to, because a big part of their push is awareness, public awareness, getting people to really recognize what's going on, and how people who visit can make a positive or negative impact. And that message, has to be spread, and it seems to be more word of mouth right now, but it should take off on a bigger scale. And one thing I want to say about the volunteer aspect is, it's interesting, there's people who are out there, and I was one, where I wanted to volunteer, didn't really know if I had the bandwidth to do it. But once you jump into that first volunteer effort, whether you're going down and actually physically doing something, you realize at that point, well, my bandwidth actually is larger and I can volunteer. And once you do that first project, you will probably do more and more, and you will, and the rewards you get are more for yourself than for what you're doing. So it's this wonderful thing that takes place, but you got to take that first step and just give it a shot, and you'll discover that you can do more than you thought you could.
There's so many organizations that that need help, need volunteering, but other people say, but I can't give that much time, so it can't make a difference. And they would take anything. They would take any hours, 1 hour a week, they would take it. But I agree with you. Once you do start, then it's like, okay, yeah, I can carve out time, because whether I'm doom scrolling or whatever it is, I could use that time to go and volunteer for something that I'm passionate about. So I completely agree with you with that. It does become, I think you become more passionate about it once you have, lack of a better word, skin in the game. It's like once you're in it, then you feel like it makes a bigger difference, and that what you do makes a bigger difference.
Yeah, and we have farm tours. So we do private farm tours. And when the tourists come, we have this organization, they have a flyer that is informative about the importance of mineral sunscreen and etiquette for enjoying the reefs and so forth. And we have those right in our little farm store. And so, it's a way, and they'll ask, so what is Care in Every Cup? And so it's an opportunity for us to share their messaging, and in a very personal, one-to-one, one-on-one environment.
You bought the land, the farmland. Were some of the changes you had to make making it more sustainable, or was it sort of always like that?
I'm making it a little more sustainable. Right now it's in a small way. I'm still getting my feet kind of under me, in the farming thing. But for example, when you pulp, you're pulping tens of thousands of pounds of coffee cherry, and there's that skin, that oftentimes just gets discarded. Some people will make a tea out of it, but a lot of farmers will just throw it away. I'm trying to compost it and then put it back into the farm after a period of time. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to minimize certain chemical products, and try and, just by the fact of mowing a lot, you can get nutrients back into the soil. So I'm trying a variety of things to be as sustainable as I can, while still getting the farm to grow.
What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned since making this whole transition? Whether it's moving to Hawaii, whether it's the farm, like, has there been just one thing that you're like, oh, wow, I wouldn't have known that before, other than just the coffee business?
Well, for me, I think, because when I met Steve, we were both in production. And so we came along together and we had a business together, and it was always production. So it's been really fascinating for me to watch him embrace this whole new life and do it so well. He not just so thoughtfully and carefully, and the way he interacts with the workers and the other farmers. And then he's the main guy who runs the tour, and I'm just sitting back there, and he just speaks so eloquently about coffee farming, like he's been doing it his whole life. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive. So that's really fun to see your partner through a new lens.
Because you would have never seen that before in the other business. Wow.
So that's been, for me, kind of an aha and fun new way of experiencing our partnership.
What about you, Steve? Do you have a moment or something that has been a moment like that for you?
Not so much, but just a reaffirming that you can do a lot, as people say, oh, you can do anything. Well, it's taking that first step, just like volunteering. You got to take that first step. And the analogy for me is kind of like rock climbing. If anyone's done rock climbing, you're only looking at your next few holds.
Yeah.
And if you look at the whole rock, the whole 1,000 feet climb, you're going to get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And so just look at the first few steps that you got to go, and you will make your way. What's been kind of cool for me is everything that I've done in my life is kind of coming together in farming, which was a surprise for me a little bit. All the different things that I've done, I'm grabbing pieces of those and incorporating it into this massive effort of farming the 30 acres of coffee and cacao.
Do you, in the mornings, drink your own coffee?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Would you ever drink someone else's coffee now?
Not anymore.
No.
We're going to get your Fast Five questions. It's a this or that, sort of tailored for you. It's just a fun way to get to know you guys a little bit better. I am curious if you're both going to agree on the same answers or not. Okay, so number 1 is iced coffee or hot coffee?
Hot coffee.
Hot coffee.
Number 2, hiking or relaxing in a hammock?
Hiking.
Hiking.
Number 3, ocean breezes and the scent that comes from that, or coffee aromas?
Ooh,
That's a tough one.
that's a tough one.
I would say the coffee orchard during, they call it Kona snow. And it's when the blossoms are all out, and they're the little white blossoms all over the orchard. And it smells so sweet. And it's kind of a cross between like an orange blossom and a jasmine. And so that particular scent.
You kind of get it all, because you do get ocean breeze, you get the flowers,
That's true.
somebody's roasting coffee nearby.
It's true.
So it's all at the same time, and it's pretty amazing. That's when I got to stop the tractor and just sit and smell and listen. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe what I'm smelling and seeing.
That's probably one of those moments too that you go, I can't believe we're here. I can't believe we're doing this, Oh gosh, that's so great. Okay, so number 4, beach sunrise or coffee field sunrise? Is it the same?
For sunrise, I would say coffee field sunrise.
Okay.
And for sunset, probably ocean sunset.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, can you see the farm and the ocean?
Yeah. Yeah, from the lanai, you can see the
We're looking
ocean.
west.
Yeah, so we're at 2,200 feet, so we're at elevation.
Okay.
But you can see it out there, so you kind of get both. But yeah, so the sky really turns a beautiful color at sunset. Yeah.
What a terrible situation you guys are in.
Awful.
Number 5, we do like to ask everybody this question because Jerry thinks it's a great way to get to know people: is ketchup or mustard?
Ketchup.
What kind of mustard?
That's what Jerry would say. What kind of mustard? I'm always like, well, no, it's yellow mustard. But a lot of people say, well, no, mustard, but I like a spicy brown, or I like Dijon, or
That's him. He doesn't like yellow mustard.
I would probably have to go, ketchup, because you can a lot more ketchup than you can the mustard.
That's true.
Ketchup can be by itself. Mustard is hard to dip your French fries in.
That's true. That's true. Okay. Well, the question that we really do ask everyone, and we think it's just a beautiful question, and we love to know the answer, and you can either answer it separately or cohesively, is what does a life well lived mean to you?
For me, it's I like to be challenged. I like to learn new things. And I like to take risks. I love to do it with my best friend.
That's sweet.
I think you said it all. Yeah. Diversity and doing it together.
I feel like so many people make big transitions, and you learn along the way, but rarely do I encounter stories of someone making a transition and kind of learning the new routines and day-to-day of a new lifestyle, but then a whole new business industry, like way of life. I mean, it's so impressive. And I just love it. I mean, I think the biggest thing that we can do in life is continuously learn. And so I love that you guys are taking on a big learning experience. And I'm so excited that you've been successful and that you're able to give back and help people too.
Yeah. And it's not just taking this turn, it's we're all in, so it has to work, or else we're in big doo-doo.
Yeah. I would love it if you guys could share with our audience, and we're going to link it all down in the show notes, how they can find you. Can anyone buy your coffee? We talked about that, but how do they go about doing that? And if they're passionate about helping you with your program of giving back.
Yes, anyone can order our coffee directly from us. It's konaearth.com. And we grow and nurture the coffee from crop to cup, as they say. And we micro batch roast it on site, and we ship it right from the farm to your doorstep. So it's very much a farm direct experience. And you can see all more information about the farm and the Care in Every Cup Give Back program, all right there at konaearth.com.
And it's not just coffee. There's a lot of other things too. Like we have about 3 acres of cacao. And so we grow and make our own chocolate. It's a 75% dark chocolate that is, I'm biased, but I gotta say, it is the best chocolate I've ever tasted in my life.
It's really good.
So we do the chocolate. Okay. We also make a Kona coffee, a rub for barbecue, which we've developed over the last year, and it's pretty gosh darn good. We put it on everything. It's a barbecue rub, and then we have coffee soap. That's a scrub soap. And what else do we have? We have
then a bunch of
other things.
Different gift sets and things. So, for coffee lovers, there's Kona coffee and chocolate, accessories. We have a whole range of gift items. So it's very popular at Christmas time.
And so, which is perfect. And so all of that is accessible on the website.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And our whole story and all that.
Yeah.
And I think there's some video we have, as video people, of course, we had to make some videos. Yeah. And there's one in particular that I think a lot of people will like, about our dog, Tickle the farm dog, because every morning it's the same routine. He's asleep. I wake up and it's like, okay, you ready to go to the farm? We get in the van and he's out the window, and then he just runs all day long and comes back and crashes. So I documented the day in the life of Tickle the farm dog. Don't miss it.
Well, we're going to link straight to that too. We'll link the video separately too, because we love that. Well, thank you so much. This has been so inspirational. I knew it would be. And I just love your story. And I can't wait to keep following and seeing how much more successful you are. So we really appreciate your time.
Thanthis has been great.
It's
really
been
fun.
Great. Thanks for including us in the whole podcast and everything.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that was so enjoyable. They were just a charming couple, and their story was like nothing else.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, to change a course in your life is one thing, but to, we think what we did was pretty drastic, like sell all of our stuff, our house, our business, everything, and then move to the coast. But we did not take on a completely, it's not even a different like career. It's like an industry that they've never been in before with coffee farming. I just think it's amazing.
Well, and also it's an industry that you probably wouldn't know anybody who's been involved with. It's not like when I say, there's something going on with the sink. Do we know a plumber? It's it's not like you'd say, honey, coffee farming. Do you know anybody in the industry? No, you wouldn't know anybody. So what do? They turn to the YouTube.
Right. And, yeah, I knew you'd love that.
Oh yeah, you gotta love that. So, because I'm just assuming they didn't know anybody or had never heard of anybody that was in coffee farming, and they went to YouTube and they learned a little something for themselves. Yeah,
yeah, and are still learning. Yeah. I loved at the end with their life well lived was just all about challenging themselves and continuously learning and giving back. What more can you ask for?
No, I know that's great, and the donation they make, which is really neat. And I can't think of the title of that now. The Care in Every Cup,
Yeah.
that initiative. That's really neat, and yeah, just the way they set it all up was yeah, it's really inspiring.
Well, you know, since we're here in the holiday season, like they talked about, if you are looking for a sustainable gift, one that is a consumable, how wonderful would their gift be to buy some coffee or some of their chocolate or that soap, any of the things from their gift shop for someone? I mean, that's a unique and wonderful gift for someone, and you'd be really supporting a great initiative with the Care in Every Cup helping the coral reef.
Oh yeah, you sure would, that's a great seasonal gift too. I think for this time of year. So
Yeah.
yeah. If this episode resonated with you, or if you know of someone who would benefit from anything we talked about today, or any episode, our guests, or anything, please share it with a friend. It's a great way of supporting the podcast and us, and we really appreciate it.
Another way of supporting the pod is by leaving us a 5-star review or rating on the platform you're listening to us on. Oh, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button because that also supports us. We would love that.
You can always find us, links we refer to during the show, and any of the podcast sponsors at arneradventures.com or linked here in these show notes. And until next time, enjoy that journey you're on. We're wishing you lots of adventures.
Adios.
Arrivederci.
Au revoir.
Adios.
Sayonara.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Dos vidaniana.